and welcome to our weekly news roundup. I'm Marcela Tomčíková and this is Praha TV Weekly News. Thank you for joining us. Let's take a look at the key stories that shaped life in our metropolis and beyond. And we start with a big metro station reconstruction. Next year, the Hračanská Online A will be renewed and thus closed for 11 months. The works will include repairs of the platforms, lobby and exits from the metro. But the key is the replacement of the escalators, which are beyond their service life. Also, some shops could be closed so as to restore the wall with the original artistic reliefs. The elevators that would make the station wheelchair accessible will not yet be there. The Prague Public Transport Company will wait to build them on Davidská Street until the modifications related to the construction of the high-speed railway to the airport are completed.
The Hračanská metro station will be entirely rebuilt. For the public transport operator of the capital city of Prague, the deadline is next year as it coincides with the end of the escalator's lifespan, which need to be replaced. At present, there is an ongoing public procurement process for the contractor, with construction anticipated to start by the end of the first quarter of 2026. The station underwent a complete reconstruction in 1995 and 1996. But at that time, elevators were not included, and they will not be part of this renovation either.
Barrier-free access to the Hračanská metro station is in our plans, but it involves two separate investment projects. In the case of the elevator, we need to coordinate with the railway administration and their project for modernizing the Prague-Kladno railway line. Specifically, the section from Prague Exhibition Grounds to Prague Dežvis.
This is because the elevators will likely lead into the Prague Dežvis railway station building, so the transport operator must wait until the railway administration finalizes its project documentation and obtains all necessary approvals to complete their side of the work. Then it will apply for a building permit and proceed with the bidding process.
In the context of the overall modernization of the Hračanská station, we will make preparations for the elevator construction, which entails, while we are reconstructing, we will build the foundations in a way that allows for, when we construct the elevators, the station won't be shut down, but will only face local limitations.
The complete revitalization of the station will take about 1.5 years, and it will be fully closed for 11 months. For the area of Prague 6, where the Hračanská metro station is situated, securing alternative transport is essential.
It is necessary to ensure the smooth flow of traffic and the transportation of residents. Ideally, Line 2 would operate in trains. And of course, we need to ensure a direct connection from Hanspolka to the metro station.
Right now, it might be premature to talk about specific transport measures. The construction is set to begin in roughly 3.5 years, meaning that we will inform the public about specific transport measures and alternative transport well ahead of the construction start.
The anticipated closure of the Hračanská metro station in spring 2026 will also enable the alternative transport to be connected with the permanent changes associated with the opening of the Dvoreky Bridge.
The Prague Emergency Medical Service has a new reinforcement, an Ineos Grenadier off-road vehicle. The specially modified vehicle will complement the existing equipment, especially during interventions in difficult or inaccessible terrain, whether in metropolis or during international missions. The rescuers believe that the new vehicle will help them reach patients even on the spots where a regular ambulance cannot get.
The Emergency Medical Service of Prague has introduced a new field support vehicle, the Ineos Grenadier. It will be utilized not only in the natural areas of the capital, such as Prokop Valley or Šarka Valley, but also during emergencies throughout the country and even abroad.
Essentially, the reason was that the Prague ambulance service had not had a vehicle that combined the elements of a standard ambulance with those of an off-road vehicle until now. This vehicle is capable of reaching patients in inaccessible terrain and subsequently transporting them to a medical facility. The Czech Republic has encountered different situations in the past years, such as the Hřensko fire, Moravian tornado, or floods, where the Grenadier will be essential.
The vehicle currently serves as a support unit and is equipped with sound and light warning devices. However, there are plans to install a stretcher system so that it can transport patients just like a traditional ambulance.
Our ambulance service has participated in international missions alongside the Fire Rescue Brigade, serving as their sole medical support. And it is exactly in the locations where these interventions occur, namely the burn sites, that Greece has predominantly been in recent years. It is precisely under these conditions that the properties of that grenade launcher are irreplaceable.
A new vehicle will enhance the existing fleet of the Prague ambulance service, which includes a Polaris ATV for challenging terrains and a specialized off-road vehicle, Atigo. The combination of various types of equipment enables the most efficient response in demanding conditions.
The basis is an off-road training ground, as moving and driving in that terrain is not the same as on a solid road, and our employees, the rescuers, need to be prepared. Who will be driving it? Not only to avoid damaging the vehicle itself on a hill in Greece, but also to ensure that they do not endanger themselves during the ride.
The leadership of the Prague ambulance service states that the Grenadier should be used not only in emergencies but also as a training vehicle for new rescuers and response team drivers in the future.
And we stay with the topic of our health because it's important. Now focused on the mental issues such as anxiety, depression or even suicidal thoughts. The new psychological module in the Záchranka mobile application can help you with all of this. The capital city of Prague was the first in the Czech Republic to start using it on its territory. Anyone who has downloaded the application and is located in Prague can use it, and for free. After clicking on the application on the phone, a menu will immediately open where you will also find psychosocial assistance. The application immediately asks the user whether they feel their life is in danger. In such a case, they are immediately connected to the 155 line. The module has been operating since the end of March, and since then, over 2,000 people have used the help.
The capital city of Prague was the first to provide a new psychosocial module in the emergency app. This service offers immediate psychological assistance in cases of mental distress. In Prague, anyone can use this service if they have downloaded it on their smart device.
People in crisis regarding their mental health often seek out this module for assistance. Individuals facing emotional difficulties that feel overwhelming often seek assistance because they cannot manage alone.
This new service is straightforward to use. When you open the app on your phone, a menu pops up right away, including psychosocial assistance options. In case of need, you can select the module and the app will promptly inquire if the user feels their life is at risk. In that situation, the user will be directly linked to emergency line 155.
However, if it is a more serious crisis, but if the individual assesses that they are not in life-threatening danger, they can continue and, depending on their age, choose an example of help appropriate for them. That reflects the situation they find themselves in.
For example, if someone has a serious mental illness or is experiencing the loss of a loved one, or if they are going through significant anxiety and depression, typically the app is used most frequently during the afternoon.
I believe it's merely my speculation that this could be due to the fact that during the day we act like children or adults at their jobs, and we kind of push our fears and anxieties down. And at the moment we come home, the problem weighs more heavily on us. Perhaps we feel lonelier, so the app is most used in the evening hours.
The psychosocial assistance module in the Rescue app has been functioning since March 26th. Since that date, 2,166 individuals have utilized the service, indicating that some of them reached out to 33 organizations and centers, with which the organization Zarada Produshi has a signed memorandum. Over 20,000 individuals have accessed the app and explored the available services.
Charles Bridge, one of the most important symbols of Prague, commemorated the 668th anniversary of the laying of the foundation stone. A ceremonial procession in historical costumes, a reconstruction of the court of Charles IV, and great public interest reminded us of the importance of the monument and its cultural heritage.
On July 9, 1357, at 5:31 a.m., Emperor Charles IV laid the foundation stone of the new bridge over the Vltava River. Prague has celebrated the 668th anniversary of this event this year. The Charles Bridge Museum held the parade and events this year.
The first celebration of the cornerstone laying took place in 2007, which was the 650th anniversary of the cornerstone laying, and at the same time we founded the Charles Bridge Museum, which we have been running ever since. As the Charles Bridge Museum, we definitely have a developmental challenge, as my mother, who is a teacher, says, to organize and maintain tradition in Prague. It's joyful. The hardest part is to rise.
About 1,500 people came this year, according to the organizers. The parade featured historical costumes with Charles IV as the main character.
This event is a reconstruction of the era of Charles IV, and this year we concentrated on recreating the court of Charles IV. The procession was organized by Miroslav Smaha, who also played the role of Charles IV in the procession. I think it's great that he is not a professional actor, but enjoys this as a hobby, and he is a fantastic orator, which adds to the overall presentation.
Remembered, notable origin, solid, bridge and tower.
The Charles Bridge stands as our most significant bridge, symbolizing both the city and its district. To me, it is this, truly a deeply emotional issue, as Charles Bridge represents life. I was born in the lesser town. We would always go to the old town and cross Charles Bridge, so I find it wonderfully beautiful that this history is commemorated.
For more than 6.5 centuries, Charles Bridge has linked the old town and the lesser town, remaining a vital transport route, but above all, the historical heart of the metropolis.
And at the end, some inspiration. The weather is different in summer, and we have a tip for you on how you can have fun indoors. And the whole family can. These are board games that are experiencing a huge comeback, and not only among children. We asked one of the game developers which games are popular right now and where to go to play them in Prague.
Activities, races and bets, or maybe a dame or Carcassonne, board games are having a revival across generations. They are played by children, adults, seniors and whole families. More and more often they are replacing time spent in front of screens.
The most important thing is that the family engages in activities together, doing things as a unit. It's not about sitting side by side, staring at phones or computers. It's about everyone participating in a common activity that unites them. This activity brings them emotions, which may be fading today because everyone tends to drift a bit away from the family.
Board games are no longer just about rolling dice and moving pieces on a board. You can decide your fate in the game yourself.
Many of these games thrive on players remembering things and being creative. Even from a young age, children are introduced to strategies and tactics in these games, so that the child can achieve success in the game through their own choices and skills.
Winning is no longer the primary objective in board games today. Modern games are not solely about victory. More and more often, people play together in them, rather than just competing against the game.
Younger children, on the other hand, enjoy cooperative games, which are also plentiful on the market today. Then there are games where you play against each other, but each person also plays a bit on their own, and the main joy comes from the act of playing itself.
One such game that the whole family can enjoy is a board game called In Darwin's Footsteps. The primary objective is to create and compile your own animal atlas while sailing around the world.
You choose an animal visible from the boat. You place it where it belongs. For example, I have a gray parrot, which is a bird that belongs in Africa. It's yellow, so I will place it in my atlas where it belongs. I then move the ship forward as many spaces as the parrot was. If it was 1, 2, or 3, I count 1, 2, 3, and I add another animal, and the next player takes their turn.
However, there are thousands of games on the market. Some entertain the whole family, while others can be played by just one player, and development never stops.
New designers are constantly coming up with new ideas. They are introducing new concepts, notably the growing integration of board games with the digital realm in recent times, with some applications and similar things.
When choosing a game, experts recommend considering the players' ages, their interests, and the number of people at the table. If you're still uncertain, the ideal option is to visit a specialized shop where knowledgeable staff can assist you, who can assist you in selecting a board game that suits both you and the event you'll be playing at.
That's all for this week's News Roundup. Thank you for watching, take care, and see you next time.